And we're here to explore some ways of reaching the people that stand to benefit from this technology. Because the technology can serve far more humans than are attracted by words like scalar or quantum. It is beneficial to every human. And so we can play with the technicals of the science and how things work and what's in motion, but I think there's also a human story in here about just spending some time with self and dedication to inner exploration, whether that looks like blankness and emptiness, or whether your eyes are open or closed, or whether you have a lot of inner sensation and conscious acknowledgement of things shifting, or you walk away not really knowing what happened, but then all of these amazing life opportunities start opening up. There's so many different ways someone can be impacted, because what's happening inside of the field is, among many things, the electrical charge of your cells is being restored to the optimal range, and we can experience our healed, whole state. A state which one has to have really dialed their lifestyle in to experience consistently, or sometimes people even work with substances to reach this level of integration or experience. And here it is, just laying on a couch in a room. That's powerful. That's very powerful. And so in a world of like social media and bite-sized information, what are some seeds for how we can plant that awareness of the universal goodness of this experience? I feel like the idea of ascension, the idea of going within to awaken and fully inhabit our body through the open heart, is an evident part, but perhaps no less new age than the scientific details. So peeling it back at an even deeper layers, like the relationship between being and doing, and how we live in a very doing-oriented culture, a performance culture. So the idea of being somewhere with nothing to do and no agenda being such a balancing contrast to ordinary reality, that alone is healing. Yeah. This is your guys' first extended stay in the system. So I welcome any reflections that are immediately relevant, or any other ways of telling this story. Because one of the things I took away from the information video on the way the technology works that stood out to me the most is the body's natural state is well. The things that we do that distort that well-being are taking us away from our natural state, and our body is constantly trying to return to homeostasis. When we give it the correct environment externally, then internally that pure environment seeks to mirror. The inner and the outer worlds mirror each other, right? So when we have a consistently well outer environment and we are within it, then whatever it takes for our inner environment to reflect and be one with that will occur. If that's emptiness, it's emptiness. If it's epiphany and thought, it's breakthrough. If it's inner sensation, they'll feel feelings they haven't felt before, you know. So there's so many different ways it can play out, but really it's all just the system in assisting people in remembering their well-being. And there's a beauty in the simplicity of it.
Yes. Keep on feeling
Yes.
the equilibrium state. How to come back to that. It can be anything, anyway.
Because it's whatever element has not been experienced recently enough to create the equilibrium, like the things that we may not even know we haven't been participating in, because it's just not something that's normally in our attention, and then we come here and it just spontaneously completes because our wellness is unfolding.
I feel like space like here allows that like expansion of awareness to be able to hold space for that unfolding of consciousness and space for the self to come to that absolute stillness and equilibrium, the rest, zero point place.
Recently, actually as recent as today, I was talking to a friend while doing some chores, and I was like, wait a second, I'm not really showing up and speaking fluidly with this person. I need to sit down and have the actual conversation. And I sat down with him for maybe the first 10-15 minutes of what turned into an hour and a half call. And then after the first 10-15 minutes of being still enough to attune with myself and attune with him, I was able to talk to him while walking. But it is that stillness that is the place that we align and attune and re-inspire and
yes, I enjoy having those moments to be able to get into that space and like almost like a meditative trance. We can get to that place doing anything, but a lot of time when we in a relaxed way of conversation, it's the easier time.
And I think that's where the binaural beats that people wear here come in too, because the music is having a conversation with our emotions or our brain waves. And so that kind of dialogue where the way of communicating is like this pure heart energy, it's really completing something that humans don't really experience. Like, I mean, there's so many sounds that we used to make to communicate.
I used to, a lot of my earlier memory when I was younger was enjoy night with my friend, had really good conversation, drifting to sleep, and we just have ongoing conversation on and on, like all those years in, like in high school, and it was an amazing place. I felt like I never left that place. I always just live in that place whenever I interact with friends, and I tendency go back to that feeling.
Yeah, the group that's been coming here on Monday mornings for the free meditation, are all such beautiful people, and there's a pretty broad spectrum, but I would say I don't often see people under 25. I would say the majority are over 50. But yeah, so when it holds this consistent frequency of well-being, your body kind of attunes into it as it's sitting in the field. So the people that come to the free meditation, they're trying to attune their field at a faster rate, but the average session is 2 hours. And some people even do back-to-backs and do 4 hours with a half-hour break in the middle. Because the longer you're in it, the more you can get into the momentum of surrender and flow into that well-being. And there have been people that will like suddenly have a chronic illness disappear. Like, oh, now I don't have IBS. I wonder about that. Or like, there's been reports of cancer going away. Like, there have been some very profound healings that have occurred in this space, and this is one of, I think he said, over 500 centers internationally that have opened up with this technology. And it really feels like the temple of light. Like, this is the beauty of coherent energy.
I love it. The temple. Yes, it does have a very interesting sensation. Very distinct sensation.
When I'm engaging with other people, it's easy to miss it, but the second I go into my personal experience, I feel the way my body's tingling, and I'm like, that is the alignment tingle that I'm waiting for as a sign of resonance in everyday experiences. And here it's just running. It's really amazing.
Is it your first time overnight here, or?
This is my third.
Do you ever come here overnight with other people, or just yourself?
Just myself, yeah.
It's very meditative.
I feel it's easy to show up as my strongest expression, my authentic expression. They have cacao circles here, and I always thought that would be super powerful.
Oh yeah, so I experienced the very first cacao experience in the last winter solstice event.
Oh.
Very powerful and potent. Yeah, I felt like we can recreate something like that.
Yeah.
So, woman did the guided meditation, Verity.
There's already a woman here who does sound healing.
Oh yes,
with
the
cacao.
sound healing. Yes.
I'm wondering if we could potentially explore like a social cacao experience. Because one of the things that I've noticed about the space, it's really good to open with an inward experience, because that's what gets everyone kind of attuned to their soul expression. But the authentic relating, once you've opened up that place of well-being, someone could experience aspects of themselves that have been wanting to express for months. You know, like they could experience a level of authenticity that shows them something new about who they are. Because they're showing up as a more well version of themselves. Who knows what kind of unique experiences might be available to them.
To me, it's like what I'm sensing and feeling is a deeper layer of my DNA code, which is entrained inside my layers of body, like as an earth body, the density is coming out different inside out.
The DNA codes.
Yes, it's kind of like you know how the flower blossom.
A toroid, maybe?
Yes, kind of like toroidal field.
That's exactly the shape that this creates. This is the middle of the donut, or this chandelier is. She sensed it. She sensed it.
Yeah, kind of like a flower blossoming from inside out.
I love that.
There was one time I woke up, like when I was in the in-between space, I was feeling the bird is singing. You know how flower blossom, when the bird sings, it helps the flower blossom. So in the half awake and sleep space, the bird was singing so beautifully, and I feel like the flower, the pink flower, is just like wobbling, like having some kind of orgasmic sensation opening. I was like, oh, my poor heart. It just felt like the flower is my heart. Opening. I was like, and the bird was singing like the heart is the flower and the flower is my heart. And I recently heard that from someone who was saying when the birds sing it, that's how the flower blossom.
While we're on this kind of general exploration of like brand story and how social media can help the people that come here connect, can you share for the recording some of your experiences with social media?
Oh wow, it's tremendous amount of sensation. It's like I am breathing ether. So I started, when I full on explore social media is when I started using, I made some friends on Facebook. Her name is Lillian, and Sacred Heart Valley. She started a group called Sacred Heart Valley, and she kind of encouraged me, and the daytime we co-create embodied star seeds. And the first event gathering we create called a Dragon Tribe Gathering is so far the best. It was just burst out of a place she wanted to connect with me, and we chat. And we're chatting, we say, let's just create an event called Dragon Tribe Gathering. And when we come together, all the star seed families, and channeling light code and sharing what they understand about dragon. There's a lot of our friends are very galactic, and our friend Fire Fairy was explaining how, because he's from Arcturus, I think he actually wrote a book called Attunement Agenda, and he was talking about seeing how the dragon just having fun, having joy, and knock on each other each time when that happen to create a new galaxy. And so like basically each of our friends we just share our understanding of dragon and the dimension that we work with, and it was quite remarkable. So that's our very first live that we did. And then I started using technology like software like WeStream. It allows us to do stream live for at least 5 channels. So each time we do live, all our Facebook, like multiple Facebook groups going live, multiple YouTube channel going live. It requires specific settings, so I basically use the RTMP code from the Zoom and connect the setting on WeStream, and you got the event pre-scheduled, and then when it's time to go live, all the social media channel go live together. I remember also, so YouTube, Facebook, Twitch TV, and Twitter, multiple of them all go live together. So that was my first experience, and we did that for a period of time, at least I think several months or half a year, and we start. So you saw the planetary chart of the Scalar tree of eternal life, very similar to what you call Mechanics, very similar. And then I feel like I want to teach the wisdom about that. And embodied journey, embodied star seed. Basically, every episode we will be teaching each of the vertex portal, and we do it during full moon or new moon each cycle, when the cycle correlates to a specific portal vertex, and I tap into the knowledge and share that. And also invite my friend Maria. She practiced Qigong and Tai Chi, and so I will be coming in sharing the planetary wisdom that's coming through during that moon cycle, and how it correlates to the vertex of planetary wisdom. And Lillian, she will be coming in to a channel message. She has a pre-recorded message to share related to that cycle, guided meditation. And Maria will come in to Qigong practice based on the cycle, the energy, and into embodied Qigong practice together.
That's fun.
Tai Chi, yeah, Qigong and Tai Chi. But for some reason, my body just can't handle it. Back then I don't really understand what's going on. Almost like my body started doing self-attack, and I think that related to the black hole system that I'm not able to understand back then. I just experienced like amount of it's almost like I'm getting out of my body. I cannot get into my body anymore. Like when I'm going live. But now I understand a little bit more. It's about the immersion. So the black hole system is from the quantum future. And think about how do we integrate the embodied starseed wisdom is we're pulling in the future quantum self coming through. But there's the timeline that we're working on, the old Earth system, the 1.0, aren't able to quite get to the 2.0. The immersion of the past and the future, there's a black hole system, haven't figured out how to fully integrate, because when you fully integrate into whole and complete, there will be no bug, there will be no shadow, it's all light. But there's some kind of bug. I actually had experience, like, I don't know what it is, enter into my face, my energetic face. And so for a period of time, I experienced intensity of pain. I remember when I go see the dentist, and even the slightest AC, the air, like, I can feel my skin. I don't have any skin. It's almost like purely become skeleton on this side. So it was experiencing intensity of pain. I don't even know whether you call it pain. Just feel very bare. Like I was
exposed.
Exposed. I was like, there's my flesh, and there was one time it was so intense. It was actually my friend Yusuf. He just bought his computer, a new computer, and that's a future timeline that's coming through new technology. The second he opened his computer, I experienced an intense of the pain from the right side of my face and radiating to the back of the third eye chakra, we talk on the back, radiating from here, and I passed out because of the intensity of the pain. And then when I woke up, I see this gigantic, huge, like I don't know whether it's a black moon, and I don't know what it is. And later on, I spoke with my mentor Ribbon, and she explained to me it's a black hole system that I see, and it's all black, and it's huge. I never see anything like that big. And then, but on the outer layer, it has a thin red line, very thin red line surrounding it. And what I feel like kind of like the last judgment day, and help me understand what is truly the last judgment is. Every single person that ever judged, or in the collective field, ever judged. So I'm experiencing full spectrum, both the party that judging and the party being judged. The intensity of shadow and guilt and shame and just like coming through, like amplify the intensity, and then I start feeling almost like my sensation is all went away. It's almost like, like what is being alive, what is a human journey, is to experience the joy of life, to be able to see, to taste, to smile, to feel the sensation of the joy of life. Imagine all of them are taken away. You can't even hear or see. It's like, so what is taken away is the sensation of the orifice. In Chinese medicine, we call it the orifice. We experience sound, touch, smell through our orifices. But when the intensity of I guess you can call it negative energy or blockage, and slowly you will be losing those capacity of sensing it. So what happened with the old Earth system is because of this intensity of the so-called the negative force, and causing us unable to, it's basically losing the capacity of connecting. In the 100 chakra system, Ribbon, actually my mentor, she has the chart showing with the chakra, when it's fully clear, it looks like sacred geometry, like the tree of life. But when it's blocked, and when it's 50% blocked, how it look like, and sometimes it look like dark spider web and just covered and turning like less light, and slowly just block away. And she's showing the picture, how many percentage when it's blocked, and how it would look like. It looked like that, but the person would start experiencing sensation, like probably numbness and pain, or unable to feel, and that's how the physical disability coming in. it's not physical, it's the energetic appear first. The energetic blockage coming through. But most people, they don't even know, okay, there's energy attack that causing the blockage happening. Like, it's because how much work that I have done with her, and she helped me to explain and to understand what my physical experience, how it caused, and usually most people aren't able to see on that level. No, there's negative energy attack, and then after attack, there's a blockage happening in different chakra or energy body, and then slowly the decaying happening with the physical. It's the physical symptom appear is always the last. What happened appear is on the energetic. What do you call it? The field. Because there
The aura.
Yeah, multiple levels of the field.
Of the aura, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what my slowly understanding from that level, and through meditation, slowly able to release negative energy. So what Raven does is teaching us how to do negative energy release work. But most importantly, what she teaches that in this current age, unlike in the past, you probably need to find a guru to help you through the guru path. But she's encouraged us that we don't need the guru path. Guide the self, connect with the oversoul, and everyone can be your messenger. Everyone can be the guru to help us to reconnect, because that's the ultimate way. Even there's messengers and angels and the guiding force, both visible and invisible, is there just facilitating us. Ultimately, we connect with the oversoul. There's different name for it. You can call it the God, the ultimate God, but it's actually the self, the higher level of self. That's why we come up this concept is like for instance, yesterday before I'm able to do the work, it's Daisy 1.0. And today when I upgrade my consciousness, my level of reality, and I become 2.0. And slowly I'm getting closer and closer to the higher level of the future self, which the oversoul is fully embodiment.
Nice. I did some oversoul embodiment earlier today in the earth. It felt really good. I've been exploring lately how everybody has a human self, a soul self, and a spirit self. And the oversoul is kind of like the spirit self. It's like the higher octave of who we are. And I think it's interesting when people make that a being that's separate than them.
Yeah, so this is because of lack of teaching, and people sometimes will get triggered when they experience spiritual awakening. For instance, dream time, and visitation from a family member who passed away, a friend who passed away. It's a very comforting sensation. When I experience, it just feels so live, and I would be telling my mom, I said, Grandma is not gone. She's always here. When you close your eyes, you can feel it. When I'm in my dream time, anytime when I want to connect with her, she will appear. And to me, that's the eternal soul. Never change. When we have a perfection of memory of someone, you can always connect with that eternal soul. That very essence, the quintessence of that soulful essence of that person in our life.
I think I will continue to be more and more called to helping people with their soul expression. And for me, the quickest way of orchestrating that is through open-heartedness. Through being able to extreme love.
Yes, and also understand that when that connection happens, especially with spirit and loved one passing away, they're helping us to feel more of the higher love aspect of the self. Like for me, when I have visitation from friends who already passed away, they come through the wisdom, which is when they're alive, they're always teaching me, but I don't quite get it. And after they pass away, I feel it so fully in my body. I finally recognize they want me to feel myself fuller. Want the 1.0 Daisy to coming online to feel an embodiment of 2.0 Daisy.
Nice. Yes, they're checking in on your progress.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen my oracle deck before? Have we played with this yet?
I think you showed me one card, but we should see more.
I'm getting yours.
I'm getting download already.
Mm-hmm.
It's like ancient knowledge. Kind of like if I have a way to explain how I feel like Alexander, the library of Alexander the Great. See the affirmation. So that's how it felt like your deck when people picking it, the opening the
Library of Alexandria.
Mm-hmm. So it's never lost. Some people say it burned, but it's not. It's always in the Akashic record.
I love that.
This is the moment that I see in my dream and in my visions when I start doing the live stream, and we have sessions and connecting with sister, and somehow when they give me a vision and I start feeling another level or dimensional level, and one of the visions I had with one of the sisters, her name is Venus Rising, and it's like a whole kind of like one design version of this. I can pick, and whatever you pick, and it's a planetary shape, sacred geometry. Like the planet, it was like, oh,
Nice.
I remember when I feel that the box or the bag and feeling it. And I'm feeling like almost like a accordion. You play accordion that you can pull it out and have music sound. Yeah, kind of like that. Unbounded. Confirmation of unity.
Confirmation of Unity is the second track, and it's where we are affirming our spiritual well-being by tuning into some fundamental beliefs and truths that anchor that well-being. And unbounded is one of them, knowing that our true essence is limitless and free.
Yes, there's so much fear because when I started experiencing multimedia on the full-on blossoming way, and the 1.0 Daisy wasn't ready because so much ascension symptom or inscension symptom, and nobody really explained to me what's going on, and I felt like I'm gonna die. It was like that sensation, And I had to figure out through painful way and ask friends to do like acupuncture, and it was so intense. And a friend, doctor, used to help me to get through, but it was so intense. I remember when even when I go to bed, I cannot lay down. It was just so much pain. And then oh yeah, I received certain vision and download around that time. It's like almost like the earth becomes flat, which is like when the earth is spinning, that's how kind of like the globe like feeling the fuller, the 3D body, right? It become more like 3D. But fear itself make our body freeze and stop spinning. When it stops spinning, and then the timeline just ends, which means there's no future. It just freeze. And in that space of like that kind of energy, I was like, wow, we need to save the earth. And by saving ourselves, saving every moment of thought. And I start realize the only way to make it spinning again is to send a strong intention to help that tree of life. Because what I see is like it's just one page of tree of life. When the earth spinning, the tree coming online taller. But when we trap into fear, it stops spinning, and the tree just stopped thriving. And the way how to make from this to a folder of 3D, it's like the page bend, and the tree, imagine it grow this way. Imagine the roots start growing. So I forgot how it grows. So there's a tree, and then the root is actually banded, because our reality is banded.
In that moment that you were describing that in such specificity, I saw you as an animator. Someone actually learning how to bring their visuals to life. Emotion.
So what's happening is that I understand in that trance stage, in order to save the earth, we need to ground ourselves fully and allow that tree root to start extending. It's super important. So I start observing that. So there are certain people they cannot stand the when the picture frame is not perfect. It's not because that outside, it's internally their mission is to learn how to ground and show other people how to ground. Because the perfection of that middle line, that's the line the God spirit comes to. Just like that. And that's how we ground ourselves.
The grounding that you're referring to is what I was calling ascension. It's being so fully within ourselves, like our spirit has come all the way fully in, that we're actually at full command of Mitsu. Like we're fully synced with the Mecca that is the human form. And I think that's why crystals are so popular, right? Because it's demonstrating to us the most grounded expression of being human, like the timeless but still material.
I remember that period of time, I just start seeing that perpendicular line everywhere. Even when I look at the door, how like perfectly just perpendicular. I was like, oh, this makes my heart feel so good when I see energy like that. And sometimes I would see cat, like, as long as the cat can get on top of the door, just lay there. They can lay anywhere. Just showing us how to ground.
That's why you like cats. They teach grounding. Oh, your new ears match your headband. That's so perfect. Have you ever heard of the Pillar of Light meditation?
That's what he does. Sash does pillar of light meditation.
Is it every color through from the sun through your chakras to the earth and back?
So his way of doing it, he just channels the white light and then form this toroidal field. When he does it, it's very powerful. You can feel it just opening. And just
Interesting.
pouring through.
That is definitely a good one. The one I was taught was, you talked about the vertical alignment, is from sun through your soul star in your crown, down one side of your body, through the earth star, into the core of the earth, around, back up, and reconnecting to the sun. And when you complete the circuit, which is kind of like a cat's eye, vertical cat's eye, you exhale 3 times. And with each time you exhale, you imagine the color of light expanding. So it can go, like usually what I experience is it goes from a center column to 6 to 8 feet wide to statewide, to one with the entire planet. That's like maximal level. But I think more typical is like within the self, fully encapsulating the body, 4 foot outside the body as a starting point. But you're not making it do anything, you're witnessing it, right? You're just being with the energy. And if the energy gets stuck, you don't imagine it continuing to go. You feel where it's stuck. You make subtle adjustments to your posture. You breathe into the spot. Maybe you even tap it or like physically manipulate your body to help the energy continue to flow and complete the circuit. So you do red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, white, gold, opalescent for the upper chakras. And when you exhale all of those 3 times, it's like, I laughed for like 20 minutes the first time I did it. It just is, it's fully expanding the energy. And if you can expand it to a wider area of effect, then I think that also translates to how deeply like you can hold that chakra in connection with the larger field, like with others, with the shared reality. Like if your solar plexus can grow to the size of a state, then maybe your willpower is aligned to have that much influence. If your crown can only go the size of the room that day, it's not a same everyday thing either. If you do it as a daily practice, then maybe it's saying I need to focus on the divine downloads for my immediate people. So the way that the color expands is like your checkup of your alignment and your purpose for the immediate energy and how you need it. It's been mentioned in Reiki teachings. It was mentioned in the Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild. It's been mentioned in Magdalene Decks. Like this is a practice that I've seen remembered in a bunch of different lineages. And Rebecca Campbell's deck has a pillar of light card as well. So a lot of different like wisdom teachers and teachings have been like bringing this practice back to the fold, and I definitely felt the benefits of expanded energy. Like it felt like something in my field had been compressed, and when I gave myself permission to expand, there was something in my soul expression that became more fluid and was less evaluatory about when it shared itself. I think vitality in general is definitely helped because you're reaching into the core of the earth and gripping around it. And every time I find that click into the earth and start coming back up, I actually feel my chakras clicking into the earth grid. And when Evie, when we met and she was doing that healing and she went down into the earth, she's like, whoa, we're dropping way down there. I'm like, I know that's how deeply rooted I am into material reality. Like I feel that practice cultivated my my integration of my aura with material reality, and that root that she found is my root. I've generated that through my energy practices. And I hope that, I mean, I'm sure there's so many practices that help create a material rootedness, but I feel like that grounding is what we have to have to prevent ascension symptoms. Because if people are experiencing ascension symptoms and they don't know what to do, they might be scared out of the awakening process. And we don't want that. We have to create a culture that knows the importance of grounding and has an awareness that grounding isn't just working out. It's not a purely material process. There's an energetic component.
It makes sense now. So earlier I shared going through that the darkness of the black hole system, and all my sensations are taken away. It's almost like I cannot smell, I cannot breathe, I cannot do anything, I don't feel anything. It's just completely pitch black. And in this pitch black, I was taken away all my sensations. And then, but even all sensation taken away, I start hearing a sound. Something about I have a dream or something about the dream. And then I feel like I'm floating, sliding through space, flying through space. I'm the golden lion. You know, the golden lion's heart is that even if everything all taken away, I just keep on glowing and flying because I'm that golden lion's heart. And as the sound just coming through and inside the space, and the full embodiment, I am the baby lion's golden heart. It doesn't matter, through eternity, I am that. Unbounded. It's like, doesn't matter what's taken away from me. I just know that I am that. And then I passed out again. And the next time when I woke up, I was seeing, maybe I become this seaweed. You know, at the deep ocean, the seaweed is actually purple.
Whoa, no, I didn't know that.
It's very, very cute. It's
Wow.
like, oh, how can it be so cute? It's kind of like a tiny tree, like purple tiny tree, and just sending me healing. Or maybe I am that. I just remember when I tapped into that, I received healing. Like, it helped ease whatever that ascension symptom I was feeling. And I just calling for more and more of that sensation. It just brings like joyful, sweet energy and calm my nerves, and then I start healing.
That's a nice visual. I can see that being coming. I was just being. Does it wave in the sea? In the deep sea? Can you show me a video?
A video of that?
Oh wait, your phone's using live stream. Oh, you're looking at it online.
So
I
later
want
on,
to be impacted by it.
later on, I understand what is that element. Would you like me to tell you?
Sure. Element.
So you know the chemical chart, very similar as the chemical chart. Different metal has different sound tones, right?
I didn't know that. No.
So Tibetan singing bowl, how it's made, is the authentic way of making it is only on during the full moon. during specific time when the element coming through forward. And I think it's 9 different metals all come together and then create and charge with the full moon energy. 9 different elements, just like you talk about oversoul, there are different octaves, right? So there is no, when we upgrade to the 2.0, there is no higher, no lower. It's just different octave tone.
Yes.
And different metal elements has different octave tone. That's when we truly doing the metal alchemy. There's no judgment. Aluminum, lead, gold, silver, copper, zinc, all of them has wisdom to teach. Just like all founding root rays has wisdom to teach. All different color rays has different wisdom. All different chakra. It's the same. When we work with different metal or like playing, singing bowl, it help us to have more memories and layers of DNA strand coming online. Because we are the full integration of all founding root rays, all within our blood, all within our bone, all within our marrow. And when this coming in fuller and through sound, through meditation, when we get into the meditative state of mind, we naturally get to the equilibrium stage that you are sharing. And in that space, we are drifting, we are levitating. We always flying, just like the flying golden lion that I'm feeling inside the body.
Yeah.
And then, as I'm tapping into the wisdom of the purple seaweed, so it's kind of like it's actually even more purple than this. but this is very very close, and it's
Is
very
the
very
movement
tiny,
correct?
very very tiny. Like so tiny, kind of like a coral. Yeah, purple coral. I think purple coral probably closer to that because coral or seaweed they're the same. Yeah, I do remember it has like spine kind of like feeling, as a just like us have a spine. So it's bamboo, kind of like that, but it's very small. And it's flying, and then I start looking into what is that element, and I find out it is cobalt. The only source we can get cobalt on Earth through food is through meat. Animals able to extract cobalt out of the core inner Earth, and fish. That's why we need the wisdom from them. They know how to extract it. We cannot get it from any other place. I have so many
Then
different.
fish specifically, or all animals?
So in that vision, it will be related to the element of that coral, the purple coral. But in my research, cobalt is something that animals, yes, actually smaller than that, but the color is very similar. It was so cute. It was, this tiny creature, you're saving me. I'm so grateful.
They put good music with it too. That's very relaxing.
It was so beautiful. So I start researching what is this wisdom, and then it come to this understanding it is cobalt. Cobalt is actually has plenty of supply in the inner earth, but we haven't got to the technology of how to extract it. Right now it's very limited. The only place I think is in Congo where there's like very few mine, and it actually mined by children, handpicked them. And companies, like big companies, like I want to put the name, but big companies like hoarding them because we need them for technology. computer, cars, airplane, anywhere that use battery need that. Because cobalt is the most stable metal element on Earth.
So if we become alchemists and can make other metals evolve into cobalt, then we would be doing a great
Yes,
service to
great
humanity.
service is understanding how to come to the place of stableness. This stable, immovable force is a force of Earth.
Well, I am fixed Earth and Taurus.
So earlier we are talking about this Earth's body is that immovable force. In that sense, all planetary systems evolve around. And this is very concept in Maya medicine, Chinese medicine. And earlier he talked about Tychos in the 1600s. Through his study, he find his own proof of the Mayan system, how other planets related to Earth through the moon cycle and the measurement of the moon. And the distance of Neptune, distance of Mars and Mercury, it's all like specific number of times distance from the Earth to the moon. So through the energetic connection and building of the energetic connection and working with the moon body, that's how we bilocate, trilocate with different planets
Whoa.
in planetary wisdom.
Okay, so the moon mysteries are very important.
The full embodiment of the Earth's body.
That actually relates a lot to my transpersonal expression. Do you ever get into these trances where you feel like you're becoming an embodiment of an archetype? Where you're like, okay, now I'm playing out the characteristics of this archetype, and I'm assisting it in completing something. I do that for the Earth semi-often, where it's like my body is a microcosm of the Earth's body, and the energy that I'm moving. So that goes back to like being whole and complete. I experience often the energy that's moving within me as an expression of what's alchemizing either for my community immediately present with me or for the planet more often. And I don't even attach meaning to it always. Like sometimes I'll get flashes of places that are being supported, and that gives me a little bit of information as to how to conduct the energy. But at one point I even, like, as I was like conducting the energy, I saw Ganesha project forward from my being, as if to like acknowledge like, hey, you're being me and doing this. And then he did a like, he sent his energy into the air as a red thread, and it tied itself into this very elaborate knot. And then I got like fascinated with like knots. You lent me a knot book. I never actually used it to create anything, but I want to. He made this knot, and when I was doing research later, I was piecing together that it was the story of humanity. Because before writing, they would encode their verbal stories with knots. So they would actually tie knots as they were telling the story, as a way of encoding the memory of the story for someone to have. And when someone untied the knot, they were remembering all the elements of the story. So I've been thinking about that a lot, because the red thread is kind of like a Magdalene mystery thing, but like it was also even like pre-hieroglyph as a storytelling tool. And that always really stuck with me. Like, wow, when I play with these planetary energies, the deities that are supporting energy work at that level are still communicating with the way humans communicated a million years ago, because to them that's recent. It's like when they speak Sanskrit or Sumerian or something, it's like, oh, all of humanity is not still doing that. The Tower of Babel happened. Oops. Well, this is like what it feels like to communicate with humans for us. It's interesting.
Talk Babel more.
Tower of Babel, the idea that we used to have a singular language globally, and then at some point, well, the lore is actually that humans tried to construct a tower tall enough to reach heaven, and through the construction of the tower and the hubris that was involved in the project, God struck the tower with lightning and it was destroyed, and in the process human communication turned into dozens upon dozens of languages. To prevent hubris is like the myth. But I think of the Tower of Babel more as just like the origin of diversity of language, more than like a sin punishment thing. The idea that language diversified, because we're sold the story that there are all these different tribes and they all had different languages, and so there were hundreds of languages before the modern era, and we've actually consolidated them. And I feel the opposite. I feel like when the earth was Pangea, likely everyone communicated a combination of like word sounds without meaning that conveyed emotion, like grunts and like all of the wordless communication, and telepathy, and that we've actually complexified language more and more as time has moved forward, and that there's an opportunity to come back to a more universal way of communicating, which is like starting with body language, right? Cat. Yeah. But yeah, that vision of Ganesha with the string I had at this meditation center when I was orchestrating the group field.
The knot showed up in my dream about Moon Palace. So I start get very interested with the metal alchemy. Metal alchemy is practiced in ancient Egypt. Maybe they do that too, but in nowadays it's Tibetan have the knowledge. They still have very kind of like lineage passing down how to do metal alchemy to turn any metal into edible metal.
Edible metal.
Edible medicine.
Whoa. My mentor from Colorado, he trained under someone who was fascinated by the betweenness and relationship, and he was like, these objects should not be able to fuse But when you know how to energetically encourage their relationship, you can merge them in ways that defy imagination. And he took a chip and he embedded it into a dollar bill. And then the chip was flexible like a dollar. I didn't see it. My mentor saw it, but I trust him very deeply. That blew my mind. It's like, okay. And then he said, I can also do this with retrieving items physically from the past. And he talked about this vision he had, and then he said that, and then I actually like pulled it from the vision, and when I woke up from the vision, it was in my hand, and look, it's on the shelf. And this is like, the relationship between imagination and reality, that we are not in our scientific rationalist box permitting the level of exploration we're not permitting ourselves. And he developed this ability because he traveled the world and talked to ancient tribal shamans from many different cultures and started unifying all of those perspectives into a body of work. It's incredibly powerful stuff. I have not studied with him personally, but I've been intrigued by him since my friend talked about him. We have so many assumptions going on about reality beyond what we're tracking. Like some of the and that goes back to the first third of this deck being like the spiritual beliefs that create foundations for wellness, because it's like there are so many assumptions we have about reality that are actually not in service to our well-being. There's so many assumptions we have about reality that limit the creativity that we bring to it. Like, you know, when people are kids and they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be a mage. Like, I didn't want to be a teacher or a construction worker or whatever people say, get rock star. I wanted to be able to like physically manifest things in the palm of my hand, spontaneously, without stealing it from anywhere. Like, I wanted to be able to cast magic out of a wand. And it's very interesting how my reality filters only allow so much of that to come through, but it is answering the call. Like, the other day, Gary started playing with a wand, and I saw what he was doing, but we shook hands, and he put it in between our hands, and it created an energetic cord that like sealed our handshake together, and we've been in deeper connection since then, like a hand fasting ritual in paganism. It's like there's so much magic if only we have eyes to see it or hearts open to experiencing it. Because there's fear of the unknown that I think is what limits much of that. When we find that core attachment to love, like you were talking about with the lion image, when you find that core attachment to like what you are, then you can explore the unknown without fearing what you might find. And I think that's why I'm so focused on people's depth of love connectedness with this deck. And it's actually meant to be read one card at a time and complete the integration of love inside of us. Because when you have that anchor, there's so many more places you can go in consciousness. But without it, you're kind of playing in the sandbox of what your mind thinks you're capable of loving, which is illusion.
Okay.
I haven't seen the warehouse yet. Yeah.
Just feeling into this.
Are you with us?
Just feeling into it. It keeps the water just keeps flowing. I don't know if I'm shedding or
It keeps flowing.
yeah, water.
That's what's flowing. That's what the Earth Mother is saying. It's okay to own the nourishment in whatever we shedding off. Whatever we shed off, the blessing of the earth.
Plus there's some more here. Sweet blessings.
So work with water, work with all elements in the water. You see the sacredness in all aspects, and then there is no good or bad. We're just gathering the data. There's a tiny honeybee gathering data in the ocean of love.
Ah,
I like that, Daisy.
I love
I'm
that.
gonna buzz on over and I'll be right back.
I need to go
He
pee.
wants to go with you.
Okay. This is so fun.
Yeah.
Such a blessing.
Yeah. Oh, can you stop recording before you do?
Oh yes.